This is the K95.3 Sports Show podcast, brought to you by the Fan Zone in Wilmer's Candy Mall.
Welcome to the K95.3 Sports Show podcast. My name is Bo Stamfus. As usual, if you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up on this video. If you agree, disagree with us, comment in the comment section, and we can kind of go back and forth with that. Also, right next to the subscribe button is a bell. If you click that, that'll give you push notifications to your cell phone every time a new episode comes out every Wednesday morning. Thank you to the Fan Zone and the Candy Mall for sponsoring us. We appreciate them doing that. Also, on Twitter, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at K95.3 Sports Show, at K953 Sports Show. I usually watch, out of the 6 games a week average for the Twins, I'm usually watching most or parts of at least 4 of them, and I'm usually on there commenting back and forth. So come follow, and we can kind of talk Twins throughout the week, and not just here on the podcast. So do that at K95.3 Sports Show on Twitter. We got the another Stinger Spotlight brought to you by Anytime Fitness coming up at the end of the show. This week is Byant Claunch from Northern Alabama. So make sure you stick around and hear that also. And we will jump right into things here. I've got some of my guests coming in here, and I'll go and introduce them here. We've got one returning one, Steve Gardner, who has been here one other time. Steve, thank you for coming in.
Neighbor, good to see you.
Yes. Neighbor for a few more weeks.
Few more days.
Few more days? Jeepers. I knew it was coming fast. Yes. I mean, we're going to miss
it's an improvement.
Yeah. And we've got a newbie, friends of both mine and Gardner's, Steve Kling. Welcome, Steve. Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure. Glad to do it.
Yes, so thank you for coming in. Since you're both named Steve, and I always call Kling anyway, so it won't be that difficult for me to
No problem.
go in between you guys.
Which one of us is the curmudgeon?
Come on.
We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah. Both?
Wow. I don't know about you.
Well, all right, guys, let's get into it. All-Star break is official. It's Tuesday night, so the All-Star game is going on tonight, right after we're done talking here. Last week, another 3-3 showing for the Twins. That's been kind of the pattern over the last 3-4 weeks. It's kind of just playing 500 ball. Obviously, a little disappointing. Obviously, 500 is better than below 500. And obviously, but we'd also like to have taken a few more. Oakland is a decent team, and we're at Oakland, so we lose, 2 out of 3. Texas, the way we handled them the first 2 games, I was at the game Sunday, and that stunk because I sat in the sun for the first 8 innings, and that really drained it out of me, and then ended up only scoring 1 run. For us, wasn't too fun. Anything that stood out to you, Steve, about last week's games?
What I wanted to see out of the Twins is some consistency. And right now, I don't think they quite have that with the bats. I mean, the home runs are great. It's fun, but, everybody does that. They need to figure out a way to manufacture some runs, and I'm not liking the experiment with bunting. They need the ghost of Gene Mauch in order to be able to learn how to do that. And that suicide squeeze play that they had here a few nights ago was just abysmal. You have to make contact with the ball there. So I'm hoping that they figure that part of it out. The offensive consistency is maybe a little more concerning to me than the pitching is right now.
Yeah, I think that's definitely some of the problems over the last month. Is the hitting has definitely been more inconsistent. A lot of people left on base, a lot of people in scoring position. That's definitely, we haven't had the timely hits over the last few weeks that we were having in April and May. That's for sure. Agree with you with that. What about you, Kling? What was your...
Well, I think that they're going through a transition right now. They've they've had with the offense a lot of injuries, or they've had situations where, and I'm going to call it hurt versus injured, and they're really taking advantage of a situation that I think philosophically they're catching up with the rest of baseball and identifying that maybe we will use that injury as a way to give them a rest. Give them a rest in the first half of the year. And what we're seeing is some juggled lineups because of that. What we have in part is, and I told Steve this a little while ago, we've seen every outfielder on their 40-man roster now.
Yeah.
And so as we now see Arise, who's an infielder, playing left field. We see others that are infielders playing in other positions. Estudillo, before he got hurt, playing God knows where, and we find that some of them fundamentally can't play that game, and it affects them in that particular way, and the offense is not clicking like it was.
Yep.
So to the point of what it was like last week, they played two teams that have more than 45 wins, each of them. Mm-hmm. One was in the playoffs last year, and the other one, Texas, is a team on the rise. So I don't find it to be that troubling that we've got that particular thing. We see Cleveland on the rise, but they're on the rise because they got a 6-game winning streak. So, don't put yourself in a panic mode at this point.
Yeah, they played Cincinnati over the weekend, and they gave up. Cincinnati just rolled over and let them pet them. That's basically what happened with Cincinnati. So, I mean, they've had a lot easier schedule over the last couple of weeks too, I feel. And I agree with that. I agree with, we haven't had our starting lineup that we've had. We haven't had them a lot over recent weeks. Obviously, Rosario's the newest one. He could have returned Sunday. Obviously, they weren't going to return him just one day before the All-Star break. I haven't seen if he is going to return for Shirley at the end of the All-Star break. Hope so. Definitely need him out there for exactly the outfield reasons. We need Kep, Buck, and Rosario out there for that, because I feel that because technically the only other outfielder is that Cave, and I suppose was that Wade Jr. that came and played a game and then got Wade Jr.
He got
injured.
He got hung up in the
fence,
wire part of the fence.
Yeah,
and you could see that play was just awkward for him.
Yeah.
You could see he was hurt.
Yeah,
there wasn't any question. You could see that.
Yeah. So that's maybe we need to look at some other outfielder people or something. I don't know. It just it just doesn't seem like our outfield is all of a sudden that deep. Because Cave hasn't been, once again, he hits like crazy in AAA, and then he comes up here and he can't hit anything. Mm-hmm. So, I hear people calling him all the time, he's a great 4A hitter. He can't hit Major League, but he can kill AAA. So, it'll be interesting to see, once again, when they come out of the break. And we'll touch on those games here a bit in a little bit later here in the show. But let's jump into red flags for the second half of the season. What do you want to see improved with the Twins? I think obviously one of the main ones is bullpen. Inconsistency a little bit with some of the bullpen. Once again, I was looking at stats, and actually. Our relief pitching is right now 12th in Major League Baseball.
Correct.
That isn't horrible. You know what I mean? They have actually improved, because I remember when I was looking at this like a month ago, we were down in like 19-20, and now we're at 12. We got a 4.3 ERA, which makes us 12th in the league. And let's see, below us, Yankees are just above us. Let's see what some other. Boston is below us. Angels are below us. So there's some good teams, playoff teams that are below us with our ERA, but we just need consistency.
And you mentioned a couple of those teams, Boston and the Yankees, and those are teams on the rise. They have had all sorts of challenges from early on in the season, and I think you can say that the momentum is going to be on their side as far as the bullpen is concerned. 12th is not awful, but that's not going to get you to the ALCS or the World Series.
Yeah, I agree.
So there is going to need to be a definite upgrade has to take place there. I'm liking a lot of what I see, especially out of your friend Miguel Sano.
Yes.
I have bashed him a little bit here and there as well. But he's finally healthy, and for me the key was to see him leg out that triple here a few nights ago.
Stand-up triple.
Stand-up triple. And you have to remember, he was drafted as a shortstop when he was 16 years old. I mean, he's just gotten big, but he's an athlete.
Yep.
So that's a big deal.
Batting 364 over the last week.
And if he can stay off of the high fastballs and get his hands through the zone a little quicker, he's scary right now.
Yep.
Healthy and scary. And their depth in the farm system. I mean, you look at Arise, you look at Smelzer, you look at Lewis Thorpe. Those aren't even some of their main high prospects, and they're contributing at the major league level. So, all Arise does is hit.
Yep.
400.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And Thorpe is a strikeout machine. He's going to be a great get for them for the future.
No, I agree. Kling? Anything?
Well, one of the things that I see as a red flag is that we probably got what Milwaukee got out of Scope. That Scope is maybe overperformed for a month or so, but he's not been very good since the beginning of the year, and the position really is for him not so much to be certain to lose, but for him to look over his shoulder and see that Arise is playing left field and shouldn't be, and that really that's where that guy should be next year. And since Scope is on a 1-year contract, not that we're talking about a free agent situation, but we're talking about a red flag.
Yep.
The guy's not performing. The concerning thing from a pitching standpoint, starting pitching standpoint, is Jake Odorizzi, and that's the fly balls that were being caught because they were staying inside of parks. Not so much right now anymore, and he's always been prone to the home run, and maybe that grand slam he gave up the other night really was a result of the blister, maybe not, but he has not been the same June-July pitcher that he was earlier in the year. Whatever contribution has been made in bringing these people along as starting pitchers, Pineda's pitching better.
Yep, yeah, he's been a lot better lately.
He's been a lot better, and maybe that's a matter of just being comfortable after this extended period of time that he was off, because it's a year plus that he had not pitched competitively, and so he's looking better. But you've got Perez that's slid a little bit in starting pitching. Are there red flags with the relief pitching? Well, sure. Some of these guys are getting overextended a little bit, and we're going to find out whether or not they can stay in that realm where they can outperform their past performance. We don't know that. If you're going to go out to the market, as the scribes seem to say you have to do, yeah, that's the place where you're going to go. You're going to have to go to relief pitching. Well, you've got a bunch of these 4A players that are not going to get you anybody. As we've already mentioned most of them. The Caves, the Hildenberger, my God, the Cole Stewarts, the Adrianza, or Wade, Estadio. I mean, these people are not going to gain you anything.
Right.
But they seem to be the ones in that rotation of 30, 32 players that's going up and down from Rochester. So I don't see the performance as a winning percentage to be the same, but I also see some things that we're going to find in the second half that are favorable for them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. That's and like I said, we are nitpicking a little bit because we still are in first. We still got a lead. We can come out against Cleveland right after the break and hopefully take advantage of that. That'd be nice if we could somehow. Unfortunately, it's at Cleveland, but if we could get 2 out of 3 of those, that would just start us off on a good end.
If you remember the last time I was on, the Twins were going to be entering a stretch where they had 17 away games and just 6 home games. And we just hoped at that time that they could stay at 500 there. They went 16-7 during that time.
Yep.
Well, now the reverse is pending here. In the next 30 days, they have just 6 road games. So
I didn't even notice that when I was looking at the schedule.
It's their biggest home stretch of the season, but you've got 7 games with Cleveland, 3 of those away, 3 at the Marlins. You would certainly hope to do some damage there, but it's Mets, A's, Yankees, Royals, Braves for the balance of that. You would hope that they could be at above 500 by at least a comfortable margin coming out of that out of this next month. If they can get to August and they can make some moves to shore up those areas that we're identifying today, perhaps another outfielder, starting pitcher, somebody who has hopefully some experience, and hopefully somebody who can throw the ball at 95 plus would be great. And the same thing with the bullpen. The rumor mill has them interested in Ken Giles, the closer for Toronto, and he's a 97 to 100 mile an hour guy.
Yeah.
If you have him, you're able to put Taylor Rogers in at the 8th inning, and now basically your opponent is playing a 7-inning game.
Yeah.
And so that's I can't overstate enough when the Twins have had success historically, they've had a really strong bullpen that just it's a shutdown bullpen in the last 2-3 innings of the game.
Yeah, and it's and being on Twitter and going through and I know it's Twitter and it's social media and people are just always angry anyways, but these people that expect I keep telling people they're like, oh, they're sitting on their hands, they're not doing anything, they're not going to do anything. Trades before the All-Star break are very rare. And then they point, well, the Yankees, okay, well, you pointed to one example, and that was literally pretty much the only trade worth mentioning prior to the All-Star break. So you're just proving my point. But, just people need to take a breath and realize that these middle teams that are on the cusp, they're not sure, are we going to compete? Are we not going to compete? A week and a half from now, they could go 3-7, and all of a sudden they're like, screw it. Here's this pitcher up. Here's this relief pitcher up. And so all of a sudden that market is going to get bigger for relief pitchers, and they will eventually trade for one of them. And I know they will. And just people need to just settle down and just stop thinking old school Twins, because we have new GMs that aren't the quote unquote Twins way right now. So I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else you want to kind of go and Kling. Otherwise, we'll kind of go to our.
Well, the schedule, the favorability of the schedule is pretty important. After the last 38 games, they play 3 against Washington, 3 against Boston, 6 with Cleveland, and the rest of them are against the White Sox, the Royals, and the Tigers. Now, if you have a feeling that this thing is slipping away, then I can't see how it can be any more favorable in something like that over 38 games. You got 25 plus games against those 3.
About that, I caught this stat. With the Twins' remaining schedule, we have 35 games against teams above 500. 38 below. Only 3 of those 35 above 500 are over 600. So we only got 3 games of there. And below 400 teams, we got 23 out of those 38. That's with 13. This is for the rest of the season. 13 with Cleveland, and then 33 combined with the Royals, Tigers, White Sox. Basically, based on the opponent's winning percentage, the Twins have MLB's easiest remaining schedule.
And that's part of coming out of the
Central.
Central Division, of course, which, it's nice in one way, but it's not so much in others. I mean, you take a look at the top 3 teams in the Eastern Division, and those are some pretty good lineups. That's some pretty good talent over there. So it doesn't always compute that you're going to come out of that. But for winning the division, it should be, knock on wood, theirs to lose.
Yes, I 100% agree. And we'll talk about that, what we think is how the season's gonna finish up here. A little prediction of that in a second. Let's do first half MVPs, pitching and hitting. We'll do them each separate. We'll go ahead. Steve, you go ahead and go first.
Well, I think your MVP pitching, it's a tie for me. It's Odorizzi, who I question whether or not his performance from the first half is going to be sustainable in the second half. Kling and I agree on that.
Yep.
And Taylor Rogers. He's quietly become one of the best relief pitchers, late inning relief pitchers in the game right now. And it doesn't hurt that he throws left-handed and still gets people out.
Yep.
So, like I say, if they can add a top-tier guy in that bullpen, or even 2, because I'm not sure that they have enough depth in that bullpen for a sustained playoff run. If all of a sudden now you can make this a 6-7 inning ball game.
Yep.
Offensively, I said it last time, easily the MVP of this team for me is Jorge Polanco. Your all-star starting shortstop tonight. He's a clutch performer at the plate. You can just see him becoming a leader each and every game, even more so. When he didn't get to play the first half of the season last year, I think that easily lit a fire under him. The Twins are an entirely different team when he's not on the field, and they are not a playoff team when he's not on the field. I don't care how much of the talent the rest of the roster has. He's the key.
Yep. No, I agree. Do you have anybody different than that, Kling?
Well, I do, because with the pitchers, I don't know if it's a toss-up or if one's ahead of the other. I'm not a believer in Odorizzi, and I suppose that's because I'm leaking into the second half with what I expect. But I got Barrios and Taylor Rogers as 1-2 or 1-1.
1A, 1B.
Yeah, I can't figure out how to say anything different, but I find that maybe Rogers could have more difficulty sustaining it because of the workload that they're giving him, and he needs help. Polanco, you can see the intensity within him. It's like, do you ever rest? I mean, when you go in the clubhouse, are you a different guy than this? Because you can see that intensity in him to perform, and if it's because he got a chance to sit for 80 games because of what he did, maybe that's it. There was someone else who came out this year with a vengeance because he didn't get called up in September. Mr. Buxton, and so it's a matter of what is it that management's doing here, or in a motivating way. And because these are the same guys, and when the question gets asked of me, well, who do you give the credit to? Well, I don't give it. First of all, I don't give it to Terry Ryan, of course, and I give very little to the players. I give it to this new regime that's there, and it's beyond those 2 guys. They've got a whole raft of analytics people and others that are improving that particular culture.
And you mentioned Byron Buxton, and that is, if we're going to project out into the second half, that's my sleeper pick for MVP for the second half.
Nice. I like that, yeah. And, I agree. I had Odorizzi. I understand where you're coming from, Kling, and being a little worried about what's coming from him. Because, he has – his last 4 starts have not been good. He won one of them just because they managed to outscore him. But yeah, he's not been good. His last 4 game ERAs were 6.9, 5.06, and 15. So before then it was nothing but zeros and a 1.5. But I always mention this to people too is, and you guys played fantasy baseball forever. You know how pitching goes. I have Sale on my team for fantasy. If his name wasn't Sale, I would have dropped him 2 months ago. But his name is Sale, so I keep dealing with him going through crap. Sometimes great pitchers or good pitchers have just bad 3-4 starts, and all of a sudden they turn it around and they just kill it again. So that's what we kind of got to hope with Jake Odorizzi is that will happen. Once again, let's hope that the first month or the first 2 months, a little over 2 months, is more what he was at this year and not the last several weeks. As far as Polanco, yes, 100%. I've been saying Polanco's been the MVP for months now. I didn't realize until I was looking, but he's only one double off of the team leading Byron Buxton's with 23. He also leads the team in triples with 5. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize he was ahead of Buxton on triples. I just assumed Buxton is because he's so damn fast. He's just, like I said, he's just such a complete player. 13 home runs. Right in the middle of the pack with the rest of the squad. It's just, like you said, so complete player. He takes such great at bats. I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen him down 0-2, and he just keeps falling off. Next thing you know, there's a single, there's a double, there's a home run. I mean, the guy knows how to approach each at bat differently depending on how what's going on with the count, and that's what I love about him is just he's a fighter on that. But yeah, I think Polanco is the obvious MVP, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes the rest of the season. He's been down a little bit over the last couple of weeks. His average has dropped about 20 points, but not the end of the world. Ebbs and flows of the season. So it will be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes. Yeah, real quick.
Yeah, they got to get people healthy. He's going to perform better if he's got some of these other bats back in the lineup.
Yep. No, I agree. So we'll kind of go to predict how the Twins will finish the season. At the beginning of the season, Dan Schell, me, and Tim Meyering gave our predictions of what the Twins were going to finish up at. I had them as 85 and 77. So basically that means they just have to go 29 and 44 over the second half of the season to equal what I thought they would do. Now, I definitely don't think that's not what they're going to do. So I'm going to, as much as I wanted to be just a complete homer and hit the 100 win mark, I fell short of that. I have them going 40 and 33 over over the second half of the season, finishing the season 86 and 66. 96 and 66. Cleveland won the division last year with 91 games, and we'll beat that by at least 5. And I still think we'll win the division. I don't think, maybe Cleveland might try to get close to us again, maybe this month a little bit, but I think we'll eventually push them off again. But that's what I think. We'll get into the playoffs. I'm still hoping for at least AL championship game, shot to go to the World Series. I still think that's very possible with this team, but I feel now after seeing what we've got, I believe we're going to finish 96 and 66 on the season. Thoughts, Steve?
Sure. Well, first of all, there's 2 guys of the 3 of us in this room that are old enough to have been around when the Twins came into existence.
Definitely not me.
So it's not you.
Speak for yourself.
And one of us who maybe was at a game in '61.
I was, yes.
Okay. So we kind of approach.
Corn grew out there in the field when you'd sit in the upper deck and behind home plate. Yeah. You'd watch the corn grow. The games were long then too.
So we have some baseball history, that we can draw upon, and this year is the 50th anniversary of the Miracle Mets, okay, which means it's also the 50th anniversary of the choking Cubs. And so the Chicago Cubs had a great, talented roster, and on September 3rd in '69, they were 5 games ahead of the Mets. Okay, they finished 8 games behind. Okay, and of course the Mets made baseball history.
Yep.
This is neither an amazing Met or a choking Cub team, but I think they win the division at 97 wins. I have them going. I think it's 41-32 for the rest of the season, and anything can happen in the playoffs, as long as they don't have to play in a wild card scenario. I think they match up well with a lot of teams. But boy, the Yankees and the Astros, that's a couple of big hills to climb.
Yep.
But a spot in the ALCS, like you said, that's possible.
Yep. Kling?
Okay, well, somebody was looking over my shoulder when they were talking about 4 minutes ago, I guess. Because for the second half of the year, drum roll, I got them at 40-33, which is 96-66. And then that particular party also said that Cleveland won 91 games last year. The year before, they won 102. And there was a slide from 17 to 18 for them, and they scored the same number of runs, but they gave up 80 more runs from 17 to 18. And now it's even narrowed more for Cleveland as far as it's 396 runs they have, 369 allowed. So that's very, very close, whereas we have a gap of well over 100.
Yeah, I'll say we're like second biggest gap in runs
Right.
scored.
So we could lose every game to Cleveland, and I'd still stick with this 96. Now, we're not going to do that. We've got 12 games left with them. We're 500 against them, and they've been close games apparently, or the blowouts were evenly divided. But I think they were close games.
If we stay 500 against Cleveland, we win the division, I think.
Oh, I think so. But
Yep.
despite that, I really think we can. They've had injury issues. They have changes in the talent that they've got there, and their pace this year is not to score as many runs as they had in years past. So that's why I would have good conviction related to that. The other thing that I found that's interesting, and I guess I'm throwing it in here right now, is I looked back and through a resource that I got, and in the last 20 games they played, 5 of them were 4 hours or more. Now, we had an 18-inning game in there, we had a 17-inning game in there, we had a 12-inning game in there. We've only had one other game over 4 hours. It was actually 4 hours even. So I think that plays in a little bit to where we happen to be at right now, with maybe somebody's tired and got hurt. I think actually some people got in one of those long games actually went on the injured list. I can't remember who, but I think they're going to come out of this time away that they need in a way where they're going to be refreshed. And 40-33 is not going to be that hard for them to do. I mean, they could make it to 100.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. I like I said, I wanted to say 100. I wanted to say 100, but I'm like, all right, I'm going to be the Minnesota sports fan that I am, and just be a little pessimistic and just be like, no, they're not going to quite make it. But no, I like how we're both on the same wavelength. When Tim and Dan and I talked about the end of the season, we were on the same wavelength. We were only 3 wins difference between the 3 of us also. So let's see how the rest of the season goes. It's going to be fun. Either way, enjoy it, Twins fans. Don't be those fans that are just waiting for the bottom to fall out. Be those fans that can enjoy it. Be an actual fan and enjoy it. Don't worry about what ifs. Just enjoy the what nows. And so let's. I think we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Steve's, thank you for joining me.
Hey, thank you.
Yes.
Our pleasure, I'm sure. Well, I'm speaking for you, but I've done that before.
That's a true statement.
Yeah. So I'm glad I could finally get you both in here in studio, because obviously, Kling, you don't live here in Wilmer. So I appreciate you coming and doing the show with me. And plus it gives you a reason to harass my dad too. So
10-4, good buddy.
Yeah. So thank you guys for joining me this week, and we will go ahead and get into the Stinger Spotlight.
It's time for the Stinger Spotlight. Brought to you by Anytime Fitness in Wilmer, Litchfield, and Marshall.
All right, and we're here with Byant Claunch from the University of North Alabama. First off, thank you for joining me, Byant. I appreciate you coming in.
No problem. Anytime.
Yeah, and let's start off with your high school years. Your overall high school ERA I looked up was 2.38. That is very good. You also played a little first base and helped get the Falcons to 3 straight state playoff appearances. What did you enjoy the most about the playoff appearances, and and how did your teams do, and just about the whole high school thing?
Just having the team aspect, we all kind of came together. We were really close, like a nice family. Just being able to be there for each guy was really nice. And, I mean, every guy contributed the whole time to every time.
Yeah.
We didn't do as good as we wanted in the playoffs, but
Hey,
you don't usually do that unless you – exactly. We made it. That's what matters. But usually you don't do as good as you want unless you win the whole thing. So.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Nice being able to get there 3 years in a row.
Yeah, that's good.
So
that's awesome. So after high school, you started and are currently playing for the University of North Alabama. Before we get a little more into that, I noticed while I was looking up, I didn't realize this, but a person who on the same play went to the same high school, went to the same college, ex-MLB player, ex-Northwood Leaguer, and ex-Minnesota Twin, Josh Willingham, is from Florence and the University of North Alabama. Is he involved with the program? Does he come around often?
He does. He comes around every once in a while, and we get to talk to him. And I kind of know him personally.
Oh, nice.
I got to know him really well last year, and so I get to see him and talk to him. And really, really nice guy, down to earth guy, nice family, love his family.
Nice.
Really nice.
Nice. Yeah. No, he was. I think he only played a few years here for Minnesota, but he was. Instantly loved by the fans. I remember that. And, of course, with his great power, too. That was nice.
Oh, yeah.
Saw him hit 1 3-run home run in one of the games I watched that I was at the Twins game for. So
Lots of power.
Yeah, huge shot. I think it was quite a ways up into the second deck in left field at Target Field. So it was a shot right down the line, too. But all right, well, back to you. Your time at UNA, you didn't play much your first year. I'm guessing it was probably red shirt type of situation.
I did not end up red shirting,
okay.
but
I just saw just a couple
not
of games.
as many innings as they thought I was going to get.
Yep. But your last 2 you have been once again pretty solid, putting up a combined 3.25 ERA, or you had a 3.25 ERA 2 years ago, then a 3.57 this year. You also led the team in strikeouts this last year. You seem to be mostly a relief pitcher with just a few random starts in there. Do you prefer relief over starting, or would you like to have been more of a starter? Or don't you care?
Either one didn't really matter to me. As long as I was being able to get out there and help the team any way that I could was the main focus, is just being on the mound.
Yeah.
So any role that they put me in, I'll go out there and do the best I can.
There you go. That's the type of attitude to have. I like it. What pitches do you throw?
I do fastball, curveball, and changeup.
Okay, nice. And let's see, now into the singers and summer ball. While looking up stuff about you, you played for a summer league similar to the Northwood Leagues in Kentucky. I saw. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you play there 1 year or 2 years?
Just my freshman summer.
Just my freshman summer. Okay.
After my freshman year at UNA.
Okay. So obviously you came back here back-to-back years. You had a great time last year with it. And obviously you're on a team that ended up having the best regular season record. And
yes,
so that had been a fun year. And once again, you guys are doing great. Won the division in the first round or the first half. So obviously playoff bound again this year. What do you enjoy most about playing up here in Wilmer?
I just enjoy everybody. Our coaches, Bo, Al, Caselli, Mark, Ryan, all the fans, everybody up here. I mean, it's just a great family atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a fun place to be. And if you're not being at home, you want to be somewhere that you enjoy being for 2.5 months out of the year. So that's the best part about it.
All right. Awesome. Well, we're glad you've come up here to play, especially this season, because you've had an impressive .70 ERA over 25 innings pitched with a 17-4 strikeout walk ratio. What has been the key to your success this year in Wilmer?
Just being ready, making sure I can locate all my pitches the whole time when I need them. and just making sure I don't leave them right down the middle.
Yeah. Mixing it up a little bit.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
What's the speed difference between your fastball and curveball?
It's about 10 miles an hour.
Okay.
About 80, 83, 84 to 73, 74.
Okay. Nice. That's solid. And just quickly, who's your host family?
Kathy and Denny Dodds.
Okay. Nice. Did you were they last year too for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They were.
Awesome. Well, that's great. That's great to have the returning players and they come back to the same families and
I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy being with them. Very nice people.
Yeah. No, I hear that a lot from a lot of the players and in the families that admit that they really enjoy doing it, and it might be something once my kids are out of the nest in the future that I might do myself with my wife and I. So we'll come across that bridge when we pass it. But well, that's kind of the questions about your background a little bit. We'll go ahead and go into kind of the rapid question segment where I'm just going to ask you a bunch of random questions. Answer me as quickly as you can. If you have to think about a few, no problem. If we go off on a side tangent, whatever. We'll see how it rolls. But we'll go ahead and start with favorite color.
Blue.
Favorite MLB club.
Braves.
One thing you can't live without.
My car.
Your car? What kind?
I just have a Nissan Altima.
Nice. Favorite thing to do in your downtime.
Play PlayStation.
There we go. Me too. Favorite all-time baseball player.
Mike Trout.
Mike Trout. There you go. Yeah. No, there's nothing wrong saying Mike Trout. He's
Very good player.
Yeah, he is solid. The one food you can never get sick of.
Chicken. Fried chicken.
Fried chicken. Favorite TV show of all time.
Shooter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My wife watched that one.
Yeah.
I did.
It's kind of new, but
Yeah. No, I know
it.
what show you're talking about. Favorite movie of all time.
Shooter.
So
TV
you like
show
the
and the
Shooter? That's funny. Let's see. If baseball is not in your future, ends up not being in your future plans, what would you like to be doing with your life?
I would like to be a physical therapist.
Physical therapist? Nice.
Yes, sir.
Which, of course, you said you were doing an internship at ACMC during the season. So
right now.
That's awesome. Well, we'll go into these here. Ford or Chevy?
Chevy.
I think I already know the answer to this one, but I'll ask it just because it's on the list. PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
It's because of the show, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I figured that out. I was talking with a buddy of mine who's a big Xbox person, and we do the old PlayStation's better, Xbox is better, and I told him, I go, I have this question, and every single player I've asked has said PlayStation.
Yeah, you can't play the show on Xbox.
And that's what he pointed out. I didn't even think of it. And he's like, well, it's because of the show.
Exactly.
Like, duh, which I love, and I currently am playing myself. But Burger King or McDonald's?
Burger King.
Smell you hate the most?
Cigarette smoke.
Yeah, I hear you.
I just can't. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just can't.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I'm like that way too. But a lot of my friends smoked when I was younger, but I'd always be out there talking with them.
Yeah.
But I'd stand out there and secondhand smoke.
Yep.
But yeah, I never liked it. Smell you love the most?
Like a nice cooked meal, like when you when you walk in the door.
Yeah,
Like
it's
you
just like a
know
wall.
yeah, exactly.
Just a wall of smell.
Yep.
Nice, I like it. Superhero power you'd want?
Be able to fly.
Nice. Favorite musical group or artist, or one of each?
Like Thomas Rhett.
Thomas
He's
Rhett.
good. Yeah.
Nice. And of course, you can listen to Thomas Rhett on K95.3.
There you go.
Got to get that little extra plug in there. And last but not least, favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Christmas, nice. Well, Brian, thank you for coming in and taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule here to spend some time and let the Stinger fans get to know you a little bit better. Good luck to you the rest of this season. Good luck to you the rest of your college and just life in general. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and that was the Stinger Spotlight this week. I wanna thank Claunch for coming in and doing his interview. Great kid, super nice, and got a lot going for him and the pitching aspect. So if you have a chance, get out to the Stingers game and maybe you can catch him pitching on one of these as a relief pitcher. So thank you guys for joining me this week. I am off next week, but I have a show called The Interviews where I'll be playing 3 interviews from the past. It'll be the first Zylstra interview, my Jack Morris interview, and my LaTroy Hawkins interview, along with another Stinger Spotlight. So make sure to check those out next week on the show. And thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.